There is so much mystery surrounding Pokemon Legends Z to A. I mean, we don't even know if we are saying the title of the game properly. Pokemon Legends ZAR, Z through A, Z to A, Zygarde to Arbok, but I love it. It seems like Game Freak are listening and giving this game more time with it releasing in 2025. And some even think late 2025 because of the TCG. Take your time, Game Freak. They are also hiring a bunch of staff too, which is nice. The Legends series itself has a reputation of just being different, and it is a breath of fresh air. So I'm excited, which is why I wanted to try and predict some things we could see from the story to the Pokemon, gameplay features, etc. And maybe we will find out more info soon in a presents or something. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, it really does help out a lot, and let's make some predictions for Pokemon Legends Z to A. That's what I'm going with, that title makes the most sense, sorry Arbok. First things first, what time period will this be set in? This has been a big debate online, some think it's in the past and some in the future. Now if I had to choose one, I think it is more likely to be set in the past, but I can also see why some want it to be in the future. If we are going off the trailer, my interpretation of it at least is that it starts out in the late 1800s, a similar time frame to Legends Arceus, and you are a part of a group again similar to the Galaxy Expedition, but your goal is to redevelop Lumio City into a more modern city, kind of similar to how Paris was redeveloped during this time. Zygarde though is absolutely pissed because he is the protector of the ecosystem and sees this as a threat. Maybe they are expanding the city or destroying parts of the environment where a lot of Pokemon roam around, and he's not too happy about it. Now the part of the trailer that makes people think this is set in the future is when we see all the neon lights and all the Pokemon running around and everything, but I think this is just them showing the blueprints of what they plan to turn the city into. And again, similar to Legends Arceus, when you progress through the game, Jubilife Village is expanded, and would be cool to see the city build up, with hopefully some customization thrown in there too. Before we cover what Pokemon could return and new forms / mega evolutions, let's go over some gameplay features I wish to see. Firstly, the big one I'm scratching my head over is the fact that it will supposedly only be set in Lumio City, entirely in Lumio City. I have no doubt they will greatly expand upon the city in terms of size and detail from what we saw in X and Y, and it will be similar to their original vision of this gigantic city that was limited due to the 3DS. But what about catching Pokemon? You know, what made Legends Arceus so much fun? Yeah, sure, some wild Pokemon could appear in the city like a Trubbish or a Fletchling, and in the rivers we could see some Magikarp and Gyarados, but for it to feel realistic, there are only going to be a small number of wild Pokemon that would make sense to be walking around a city environment, even if there are certain parts of the city that aren't developed yet. Like a wild Avalugg going for a morning stroll to the cafe just feels a little bit off. It seems like these 5 points on the map could be similar to wild areas, and each being a different biome, or maybe arenas for noble Pokemon assuming they come back, but still this wouldn't really feel natural having a forest area and a snowy area right next to each other in the middle of a big city. So I really don't know how they are going to do this. To me, it just made sense for us to be able to explore the surrounding routes similar to Legends Arceus, but it seems like that maybe isn't going to happen if we follow the exact wording of this tweet. I really don't know how they are going to do this, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. I bring up the icy / snowy biomes for example, as I assume they'll want to present this to offer some variety, but I just hope it's done in a natural way and doesn't feel like the underground in BDSP with a small room and just loads of random Pokemon walking around. But let me know in the comments how you think they will tackle this. I really hope though that we can explore some of the surrounding routes and different villages and everything to be able to see what this looked like in the past. Some other features I expect to return are the catching mechanics from Legends Arceus, being able to throw Pokeballs when you please, crouching and dodging and taking damage from Pokemon. I assume Alpha Pokemon will probably come back too. Roller skates definitely need to come back. They are so much fun, and maybe with this being set in the past, we could meet the person who invented them. Very random, but I also hope the shiny sound comes back from Legends Arceus. This has saved me so many times. In Scarlet and Violet, I have probably missed tons of shiny Pokemon, especially the smaller ones, and I'm colorblind too, which makes me always doubt if it is a shiny or not. And I'm always stopping and going, wait, is that a shiny? I hope following Pokemon also comes back too. I swear they always struggle to get this feature right for some reason. Like they seem to master it and then stop using it for a few games, bring it back, and then it's just awful and worse than the last one. Like, this should be a mainstay feature. In Sword and Shield, they kept falling behind. Scarlet and Violet did it alright. I get not every Pokemon will be as fast as some, but Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee seem to master it pretty well. Now with Arceus, they couldn't follow you, but you could take all 6 out at the same time, which was really cool. And in Scarlet and Violet, you could of course do it in the picnic area, so it'd be awesome to be able to have all 6 out at the same time, have them all follow you everywhere and see them interact with the world around us, picking up items and everything. Some other quick fire features I want to see is more creative side quests, being able to customize certain parts of the city and maybe choose between different buildings, especially being able to customize your own home in little ways and maybe choose to have certain Pokemon live in your home, having ride Pokemon to traverse different areas, but maybe having the freedom to switch between different mons so it isn't just the same one every time, more mini games that allow us to interact with our Pokemon, as the Legends games are about humans coming closer to Pokemon. And I'll stop there because I could honestly go for ages. Now for Pokemon, let's begin with the starters. The main picks people seem to be going for online is Piplup, Snivy, and Scorbunny, as they all fit the French theme pretty well. And yeah, I can see it. I don't think they always have to match the region it's based on exactly, as this would be difficult for some other regions. And if they really wanted to, they could just give the new final evolutions forms that match the region instead. But I feel like with the starters, you're kind of just guessing. But yeah, sure, Piplup, Snivy, and Scorbunny seems to fit pretty well. Which leads me to my next point. Will we see new forms for the final evolutions, or will it be Mega Evolutions instead? I think new regional forms make sense here, because I would rather see Mega Evolutions for the Kalos starters, which is still insane we never got them in the first place. I do hope they play a bigger role in this game, unlike the Sinnoh starters did in Legends Arceus, because they were just kind of there. And it's probably likely the Kanto starters will come back too with their Mega Evolutions, so maybe it's just best for the main starters to get their regional forms instead. I also think it's about time for Jinx and Flygon to get their Mega Evolutions, and for some random picks I personally want to see Talonflame, Dragonite, Nidoking and Nidoqueen, Luxray, and Noivern. Let me know which Mega Evolutions you want to see below. I also think every past Mega Evolution should return, along with the entire Kalos Dex. It just makes perfect sense, with new forms for the Legendaries and Zygarde. With Legends Arceus, we only saw 242 Pokemon, so I hope this time around we at least see a closer number to what Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet had. Finally, before we finish off, this seems pretty important to talk about, the overall performance. As we all know, the quality of recent games haven't been the best. They don't look great, they don't run well, and are full of bugs. I do think Game Freak are listening, and they hopefully will get this game running well. I still think it could look great on the Switch, but I have a feeling this will also launch alongside the successor of the Switch, similar to Breath of the Wild. But regardless, I do think it is 100% coming to the current Switch. I know some people are doubting that. Look, I could go on for ages. A lot of this will just be purely guessing. I completely appreciate that, but it's always fun to speculate. Let me know in the comments down below some of your ideas for Legends ZA. Do you hope it's in the past or the future? What regional forms or Mega Evolutions do you wish to see? And do you think we'll find out some information soon? I always love reading your thoughts, and hopefully we have a Pokemon Present soon. Make sure to subscribe for more Nintendo content.
Sunrise.